Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
the podcast.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the Port Charles 411, all about Dante and Lulu Falconeri. I don't know. Do you think she'll go back to Spencer if they get divorced? She already said it once. I'm Lulu Spencer.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I know just women in general are like, well, now I'm divorced. I want my original name back, my maiden name, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like once you have kids, that just makes it so complicated. And
I think it's situational. Like if it's
a super nasty divorce, I understand wanting to get away from it. I don't know. Like I have 3 kids with my ex, and I just feel like I had gone through that when Matt was older. That he has a different last name, so you feel my pain. I do.
I will never have the same last name as my kids.
Yeah,
and
it's annoying.
Stinks.
It's annoying
because I thought I was going to.
Yeah. So
life happens.
But now it's funny because whenever any of the teachers call, they still call me Mrs. Kimmel.
Yeah.
And my kids are like, "You're not Mrs. anymore," and I'm like, whatever. Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
that's just, there's time and place to correct, because I get Mrs. their last name. And
it doesn't.
Like, so, okay.
Right.
But
I don't correct people. But yeah, just for
my daughter asked if she was going to get my last name.
Aww.
Like now. Yeah, she's like, I want to be a coach. Aww. But then we explained to her, but you still see daddy, so you're not going to. And
that's
all
so
that
cute.
Stuff. But the cat's last name is Coach.
So that's where her jealousy is coming in. She wants the same last name as the cat. Not as you.
Perhaps that is. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. My opinion is that Lulu should keep it because she has Rocco and she already has a different last name than Charlotte.
Yep.
I don't know, for my own easiness of calling schools and those practical matters. And I don't feel like Dante has done anything horrific to her that she needs to be like, no, I want to be back to Spencer.
No.
But she's a drama queen. So probably back to Spencer.
And we'll see, because, Laura did it. Yeah. Laura also has a super long history of...
If she kept all of her married names, she would need a sheet of paper just to...
One day we will go through that list. But we're going to do this a little bit differently today. And instead of just straight reading through generalhospitalfandom.com, we're going to have a little bit more of a conversation. And actually, how they wrote their story is a lot different than the previous ones, too.
Yes.
But I think that maybe first we should go. So we did go to Twitter and Instagram and asked people's opinions, because this is actually what prompted it, is the pending divorce.
Right.
Do we actually think they're going to get divorced? This is actually the second time they're getting divorced. And do we think it's going to happen or not? And nobody answered us on Twitter. But people continue to talk about Finn and Hayden, so thank you.
Yes.
Continue to get information about...
Well, that's good. See,
a lot of people are loving Hayden.
Because Finn and Hayden are so much more exciting than Lulu.
We'll get into that, though. Now,
yeah, they did have their moments.
They totally did.
Yes, that's true.
So on Instagram, we asked, do you think this is it for Dante and Lulu? Will they actually get divorced again? And I asked what people thought about Laura's advice to her last week, and no one even acknowledged that part of it. So Jessica Mendoza, 12, says, hope not, love this show and all the actors. And I misread it a couple times, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, hope not what? She was saying, I was like, do you hope that they get divorced? She said, no, I do not. I was like, oh, okay, yes, I gotcha. And then Leslie Keller Books said, I sure hope so. I never liked their storylines. Which makes me, I should have asked that follow-up. I should have asked, did you ever?
Right. Is she a newer viewer and has only seen this whiny, cryy Lulu, or was she there from the beginning?
Right.
When they were falling in love? Because you're right. Their storyline in the beginning was super cute and flirty and like...
And Jolie Berman, I'm sorry. She is a little firecracker.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect match for him.
Right.
It's that she can hold her own. I'm sorry. Lulu is no longer that strong, independent woman.
Right. She's a crybaby. Drama queen. I don't like it.
She is going through a devastating divorce, but I get what you're saying.
She's been a crybaby longer than she's been going through a devastating divorce.
Yes.
She cries about everything.
Yes. So they got together in 2009 is when Dante and Lulu first met, and I think you and I both watched. Yeah. Amanda watched YouTube.
I did. I did not.
Isn't that great?
As Shannon, as always, but it is, except for I could get lost in it for days, which is why I'm trying to not go down that rabbit hole.
Well, so I just found a really good stream. I think it's Jersey Girl 516 on YouTube, and she just has 72 videos of GH, Dante, and Lulu from 2009. So it's nice because you pretty much can watch them sequentially.
Yeah.
So I only made it, and I did skip some. I did not watch all of them.
Okay, that's good.
But, watching them first meet.
Yes, I did watch that one. When they first met, that was adorable.
Where did they meet?
I was going to call it the floating rib, but that's not what it was then, was it?
Mm-mm.
Jake's. I like how silly he was and how flirty he was, and that he knew his pickup lines were cheesy and cute. And
he was so sweet.
Yes, and she just totally went for it because that's the kind of guy that I would have gone for.
She didn't really.
She
didn't just fall over. No, she played hard to get.
Yeah, if she would have gone for one of those cheesy lines like, "Oh, I'm in love in 2 seconds," that would have been horrible because the lines were horrible. But she played off of it well.
Yeah,
like you could tell she was interested. I had not remembered, and then looking through all this, the fact that Ethan and Lucky beat him up. That was ridiculous.
Pizza.
Yeah.
He was bad. But then when Epiphany was nursing him, like cleaning him up and everything, he took off his shirt, and she and Lulu both were like, uh-huh.
Maybe you can get beat up more often if that's what happens.
Right.
No, I just thought that was ridiculous because, like we just said, Lulu was a strong, independent woman. She did not need her brothers coming to her defense. And he wasn't doing anything. They were just playing pool.
But he worked for Sonny, so they didn't want him getting caught up in that.
Oh, well, they should have known by then that just added to the bad boy reputation and would make her want him more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. Did you know they had a song before you read this?
No. Okay, no. I did. Because you know that when certain characters are on screen together, there's always the same song. But I didn't know the name of it.
You Come Around?
By Bob Hartree and Jason Bell. So yeah, like you always hear the same songs whenever different characters come on. Like I know Jason and Sam have their song. Theirs is very recognizable.
Right.
But I never realized, I guess, that they actually had names.
They said that in this case in particular, they didn't play it all the time. They played it whenever they were first getting together, and then they played it again whenever he left for his WSB assignment in June of 2018. And then they haven't played it again since. So, like, they didn't play it whenever he came back a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's just their song, not, like, their background song.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because then in May 2010... the first time that they got it on, they had Make You Feel My Love by Adele playing.
Right. So, yeah, I don't think it's their background
But
song.
You Came Around remains the couple's official song. Interesting. Mm-hmm. But the song, like you just said, the song hasn't been played since 2010 except for last year. Yeah. So that's a little weird, guys, to have an official song,
it's a song
that's
but it's not a song. Or not their song.
A lot happened in that time
I would think
for them to use that song.
Yes, every time they broke up and got back together because she had fun dumping him repeatedly.
Yep. So do we want to talk about that a little bit? Because
sure.
So when they first got together, she played Hard to Get.
She played Hard to Get, and then they got together. You're going to say that they're some wonderful couple, but I'm going to go back to saying that she sucked even then because she broke up with him every other day.
I don't know. She was young.
Uh-huh.
And I think she was just like, no, I don't need to be attached. And she was playing Hard to Get. I loved it. But I mean, he was definitely, but so like in the beginning, he wasn't even Dante yet.
That's true.
He was Dominic Pirelli working undercover.
Did they get together?
Uh-huh.
When he was still...
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They first kissed when he was Dominic.
Okay.
And then, like, something happened and he wound up in the hospital and she found his police badge and she was trying to call him out on it and he covered it.
Okay.
But he was still Dominic Pirelli.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until that she fell through the water, he wound up telling her and then she wound up, she said that she wasn't going to tell anybody. But yeah, so, I mean, maybe she just had a really good instinct that there was something not right.
Yeah.
Like something was off. Because
there was something he wasn't telling, yeah.
Yeah. Because that was all 2009. But then...
They hooked up in 2010. She knew at that point. point that he was Dante.
At the end of 2009, she found out that his real name was Dante, and then she just really gave in, I guess. And then she was kidnapped by Franco in 2010. And so you know how when your life is on the line,
then I just need to
then
tell
you
you
realize
all of my
that you really need to Dante went to save her, and that's when Claudia Zacchara was on too, and Johnny.
I loved her.
So I mean, that's just weird though that Johnny and Olivia were a thing because Johnny's like Dante's age.
Yes.
That's gross.
Yeah, I don't know how she did that because I couldn't date someone my kid's age.
We've talked about this, I think, actually on here too.
we have definitely covered that.
There's definitely. So then remember over the summer in 2010 when Brooklyn came back?
Mm-hmm. Right, she was brought back because Carly told her if she could break them up.
Yep.
That she would cover the cost of her music career.
Yep.
Which that always felt weird to me also because it didn't seem like Brooklyn should be old enough. Which I guess
she shouldn't.
They kind of lumped her in when they brought her back when she was younger but older. Then she was hanging out with Dylan and all them.
Yeah.
So I guess she's in that right age range. But when they brought her back that time to break up Dante, they talked about her hanging out with Dante in Bensonhurst. I was like, what? That's not the right age.
Well, she and Dante are now step brother and sister.
Love figuring out the weird relationship.
Well, his mom is married to her dad. They're now, I mean, they're like Greg and Marcia.
Ugh.
Ew.
So gross.
Totally gross. but yeah, so I mean, that was...
It didn't work.
No.
So whenever you read about Dante and Brenda having a past, did it cross your mind that you wanted Dev to be Brenda's kin?
Oh, you don't think that Brenda is Dante and Brenda's? Or you don't think Dev is Dante and Brenda's?
But that's what
is that the look that you're giving me?
That was what they originally. That was the story that they told. It was supposed to be Brenda and the crazy guy that had her. Dante helped
because
Brenda
he was like her bodyguard.
The murder of her ex-boyfriend Alexander Janicek. Yeah, he was her bodyguard, and so then he helped her cover up the fact that she killed the other guy. But whenever she found out she was pregnant, they told everyone that it was Dante's to protect the child from the crazy guy. But what if it really was Dante?
Oh my goodness. Did not think about that.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I read that, I was like, is that who Dev's going to be? That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Well, so I was going to talk about this like at the end, but Dominic was signed on to do 10 episodes for this year. I don't think he did 10 episodes in May, did he?
No.
March.
No, he came back for what, 2? There was only 2.
I thought it was only like 2
and
or
then
3.
With this recent shooting action,
he wasn't
didn't
in
see
it.
Him.
No.
Yeah, so that shouldn't count as one of the 10.
Nope. So on February 13th, 2019, it was announced that Dempronia would return to GH for 10 episodes. His first air date was March 15th, and he left again on March 29th.
Yeah, he did not do 10.
But I don't feel like he did 10 episodes.
He did not do 10 episodes in that time.
So no, he sure did not.
I think it should come out that Dev is really there. I don't know how Dev would end up not being part of Brenda's life, like how they're going to...
He would have been sore-assed because he was her bodyguard in 2007.
Okay.
Before he came on scene.
Right.
How old was the kid?
It doesn't say how old the kid was then.
But that would also make sense why he was in, like, when they were connecting in Turkey, why Dante went rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm glad I didn't.
Are we getting Brenda back, too?
Oh, my God. That would be amazing. I love Brenda.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. What is Lulu going to do with that information, though?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Only she's allowed to have an illegitimate child from
that she didn't know. Circumstances, yeah. I mean, we could be totally off, but whenever I read that, I was like, oh, that's who Dev should be.
Yeah. Gosh.
I think that'd be a really good storyline.
I enthusiastically agree.
I don't know how they would make the connection.
They do anything they want.
Well, I know. Exactly. I don't know how they would make the connection. Because Brenda doesn't seem like someone that would just let her kid go. But maybe he got kidnapped again after that. And then he ran away from the grandma or something.
Well, I was thinking maybe he just ran away.
Right. I don't know how they're going to write it. But I think that would be genius.
This consistently says that she breaks up with him over and over again because of the different lies. So like the not being honest about the stuff with Brenda, but a lot of it also has to do with his job. Like there's a lot of things that as a law enforcement official, he can't tell her about.
Right.
Or
her own dumb stuff. Like she lied during the custody battle and he wouldn't back her up on it.
Right.
And during the
that's what
adoption.
caused their first divorce, right?
Yes. Well, no, the first divorce came after he slept with Val. Lulu left Dante in 2013 because he wouldn't lie during the custody battle, or back up her lies during the custody battle. In February of 2016, they signed divorce papers. In March, their divorce was final. Oh, okay, yeah. March, divorce was final. In November, he proposed again.
But they had already been married before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. I thought it was Val that had caused the first.
We didn't talk about them first getting married.
I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Their storyline was just so back and forth and cute. I don't know how you cover all of it.
Well, they have to get married before they can get divorced,
They do have to get married before they get divorced. You're right. They were married in December. It was Christmas Eve on the show, but it was actually the 23rd because it didn't air on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. In
Bensonhurst. And Olivia was the only witness.
Yeah.
And then the whole family showed up to tell them congratulations, which I also thought was weird because why wouldn't she just tell the whole family to come an hour earlier or something? But yeah, that was when they got married. And then Rocco came in September of 2013 because of Britt, of a surrogate. You have to go down into where it breaks down storyline to see that it wasn't just a surrogate. It was Britt who stole Lulu's remaining embryos.
Because they discussed wanting to have a baby, but then they couldn't get pregnant. So they decided to use a surrogate, and that's why there were frozen embryos. Well, so they looked into adoption first. And remember, she lied on the application?
Yeah. And then
they found out. And so they were like, you lied. Now you don't get a baby.
Who lies on an adoption application? Like,
I don't know. Because, I mean, I just had to fill out a recommendation for a friend for adoption. And that was hard. It was.
Oh, they have very strict guidelines.
Yeah. But so, yeah, they got taken off the list of being able to adopt, and so they decided to do surrogacy, and Maxie decided to do it, but then that's when she
miscarried. She was pregnant with them. For them.
Yes.
She miscarried, and then Spinelli gave her some comfort.
Yes.
to get over that miscarriage, and they ended up getting pregnant.
Right. But she kept it acting like it was theirs, and
which was just crazy. Like, yeah. I know there's different levels of crazy, but that was crazy.
Yeah. Because, I mean, so she was already supposed to be pregnant, so she decided to just keep with it, and she wasn't going to keep.
But then that's how Britt got involved. Britt was the doctor for her, noticed that the dates weren't going to match
did
up.
Not match.
And so hid that secret and was like, oh yeah, we messed up in the beginning. It's just pushed back a little bit, blah, blah, blah. That was how she had dirt on Maxie to get Maxie to do whatever she wanted.
And then that is when Lulu was kidnapped, too, as well.
Oh my God, she's been kidnapped so many times.
She has.
Maybe that's why I don't know where we are in history. It's because every 3 weeks she's kidnapped by somebody.
But they went to find her, and they found her. Was it on Spoon Island?
Oh, the frozen place? Was that below Spoon Island? The frozen place. Hold on. I feel like I'm watching a Disney movie.
So they were on Cassadine Island, and that's when they found Lulu was frozen in that block of ice, or like in a. She looked like Austin Powers. I'm sorry, but that's when we did the cast switch.
Yes.
To Emmy Rylan, who is a sweetheart,
right?
And we don't mean, and we talk about this all the time because we don't want to disrespect her. But I'm sorry, Julie's Lulu was better writing. It fit her better.
Exactly.
And I do think that this new pending divorce is showing a little bit more of Emmy Rylan.
And I hope that it continues because, I think she's a wonderful actress, but the way they're writing the storyline, it just makes her we've talked about this 100 times, just a crybaby drama queen, and I can't stand it.
But basically, Luke and Laura found her, and I think that Dante was there too.
Yes, because he's the one that set off the alarm or whatever.
Yeah.
So he rescued her.
But apparently she had married Stavros.
Yes.
Which is just kind of creepy because Stavros married Laura too, right?
Mm-hmm. But that's why he took Lulu, was because she reminded.
Yeah. During all of this, they still think that Maxie is carrying their baby.
Right.
She does have their daughter. I don't remember exactly because she didn't remember stuff, didn't she? She had like a little bit.
Right. She didn't know who they were when she first came out.
But that recovered quickly. But then Maxie has the baby. She falls in love with her kid. And realizes that she
knew was going to happen.
Yeah. I forgot that Brad was the one who told them the truth. Hypocrite!
The one time Brad did something right was give out some information.
He only did it right because it would help Britt.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
that's a weird friendship. But basically, so, Dante and Lulu wind up fighting Maxie on, no, that's our baby,
Yes.
You can't prove it, this, that, and the other thing. And then Spinelli was like, all right, that's my kid. I want in.
Yes.
And so he wound up getting custody. And at the time, the baby's name was Connie Falconeri.
Which was so weird.
Who was Kate Howard, who we just profiled. Then this is when Dr. Westbourne took the embryo.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And
right, they decided after Spinelli got custody, they decided that they wanted to try for another baby, so they went to go get the remaining embryos, and Ellie told them that they were missing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came out later that it was Westbourne that stole them so that she could tell Patrick that she was pregnant.
Right. She did. I mean, she was pregnant.
Oh,
she had him.
Yeah, she had him.
He
had a way better name then.
Ben. But yeah, so then they had to fight. I mean, she has had a lot of custody battles that are absolutely not her fault.
She has.
And the Maxie one hurts the most, though, because, I mean, that was like her best friend trying to help them out. And then.
No, I don't know how they recovered from that.
No. Well, that's the thing, though. They used to be a strong couple.
Yeah.
Because this is, even when Emmy Rylan came on and was going through all of this, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
It's only recently that they're making her like a whiny. So even, I would say maybe the past 2 years, it's been like, seriously, knock it off.
Yes.
Because when she was going through all the custody battles.
Right. When she handled all of the Maxie stuff and getting Ben, that then they named Rocco for some reason.
Yep.
All of that back. She was appropriately upset, stressed, and mad. But she didn't just sit around and cry all day long. It does try to explain that further in here as it talks about her having like an identity crisis because of all of the Spencer drama and all of the drama in her life and all that. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that's when they decided to kind of change her tone or whatever, if you will. But I don't like it. They need to change it back.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, and then a little bit later they decide to try again, and they do try that to see if she could carry their own child, but then she went and saw her. And this was Dr. Chu. What happened to her? I miss her.
Yeah.
She was a good OB.
Unlike that new chick that is awful for Carly.
Yep. So it's septate uterus.
Okay.
She was able to repair it, and that Lulu would be able to have a successful pregnancy and carry an embryo to term. Oh, that was Levi. Oh, but shortly after they find out that they can have another baby is when Maxie and what's his name? That crazy Levi. Didn't she marry him? And Lulu is the maid of honor.
Yep. Oh my God. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And someone wound up kidnapping Lulu because, Dante goes to try to find her, but then she annoys.
I thought it was the chance of getting shot, but maybe not.
Oh, but then Dante does find her, and that's when Dante shoots Levi. But that's not what killed him. But then they both wind up they got kidnapped together, and they were chained to a bunch of poles because everyone had passed out because the room had filled with gas.
Right.
Oh, but a lot of this had to do with when Stavros was trying to get back with her and get her pregnant. Right. Because this was after her uterus was fixed, and so she was going to be able to carry a baby to term. And then when she was frozen, he had his sperm and her egg frozen, and there's an embryo. So he was trying to get her to carry the baby.
Right.
Dante goes to save her and everything. Dante actually winds up killing Stavros. So yeah, so after all that craziness, she just decided, no, she was happy with the way things were. So.
Okay, what year was that?
It was right after the Stavros thing. So like after he died and they got home and were safe and sound, Dante's like, all right, you want to get back to it? And she's like, you know what? I thought about it. No.
Okay. So later, see, I'm not crazy. Later, they talked about having another baby. In August 2016, Dante and Lulu found out that their last remaining embryo was no longer viable. So she waited, and by the time they got back around to it, they couldn't have done it anyway.
Yeah.
Before they decided to try again or talk about trying again in 2016 is whenever Valerie came into play, though. How do you feel about that? In 2015, Dante and Lulu are relatively happy. That's what you just talked about. But she was happy for 5 minutes. And then Lulu's long-lost cousin, Valerie, comes to town and starts hitting on Dante.
Mm-hmm. That was weird, though.
That was. I don't understand
because Dante's not a cheater. But, I mean, Dante is definitely not. And it's not like they were
But he cheated because he thought that Lulu was cheating with Johnny. Not that that excuses it in any way, shape, or form. But it wasn't like he just jumped into bed with Valerie one day because he couldn't resist her womanly ways or whatever.
He thought she was cheating with Dylan.
Or with Dylan, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yep.
I'm like, wait, where's Johnny? Because I'm
not Dylan. No, or not Johnny, with Dylan. Yes, because they were on their own little adventure.
Yeah.
And all that. So.
Well, but here's the thing. She lied to him.
What? Lulu lie? That never happens.
Yeah.
See, I'm right to not like Lulu from a long time ago. I liked, like, it was exciting. The character was good. But she's not ever been a good wife, girlfriend, friend.
I think up until probably after the Valerie thing is when she really stopped being... It's like she always would... She never really threw it in his face again.
Right.
But there was always kind of like a little chip. Yeah. That was still there.
Which is understandable.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Because of the divorce or because of the cheating, they wind up getting divorced. You know? And then they chose to get back together not even 3 months later. So if you're going to make the decision to...
She lied to him in order to save her brothers. So does that make it okay?
Ish. Because... Remember he got mad because she couldn't tell him because he was a cop.
Right.
So it was like the catch-22.
Yeah.
But I still don't see him cheating. Like, that was such...
But it wasn't... I think the reason that it was... Again, I don't mean okay like it was okay. But okay for the storyline is because it wasn't like a year affair where they were meeting up in seedy hotels and hooking up and blah, blah, blah.
It was a moment of weakness.
It was... Yeah. And again, not okay. But I feel like there's levels of cheating. There's levels of cheating. Shannon's giving me a look. There's levels of cheating that make one...
Did somebody else's body do stuff with someone else's body that was not their spouse?
Okay.
Body doesn't even mean just private areas. I'm talking about kissing. I'm talking about
So some people can't forgive.
Cheating starts in the mind.
Some people can't forgive any level of cheating. Other people choose to try to forgive and move on. I feel like when you're at the forgiveness part, that there is different levels of cheating.
I think there's different levels of forgiveness. It's, you can't...
Okay, so certain levels...
You can't say that you've forgiven someone if you still hold...
Certain levels of cheating are easier to forgive than other levels of cheating.
I don't think so.
Really? You think that if you found out that you had a huge fight and you were being a jerk for like months on end and your husband thought that you were cheating with somebody else and he went out and got drunk and had a one-night stand with someone is the same level of unforgivable as if you found out tomorrow that he's been having an affair for the past year?
Okay, so my husband has never gone out and slept with somebody else that I know of, and he better not. But I did find out.
Hypothetically speaking.
But one of my exes, yeah, I found out. But I mean, one guy I found out cheated on me multiple times because he got bored while I was at college.
Okay.
To better my situation. And then the guy I dated after him, I found in bed with another girl. So there was serial. And then the one night, it all stems from, I don't know. I don't think that there's different levels of cheating. I don't.
I feel like that there's different. Yeah.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Two wrongs don't make a right. I just feel like some
He should have just left her.
I 100% agree with that. Some things are easier to forgive than others.
But if you're going to get back together with somebody, especially after you go through the whole divorce and then decide to get back together, you can't hold that against them.
I'm not saying that you can hold it against them. My ex and I had filed for divorce once and then reconciled and still ended up divorced years later. But
you didn't get remarried.
No, because we never finished the first divorce.
So you were still married.
The divorce was filed at one point due to cheating, and then he dropped the divorce due to his cheating. And then he dropped the divorce because we were going to work things out. We were able to work on it for a little while, and then habits just didn't change. So we ended up ultimately divorced. But I feel like the first time that someone cheats, if it's not some, year-long affair, that's easier to get past than something more.
I don't know.
It's probably personal. I feel like if I was Lulu, I would have tried to forgive him and move on because, not that it's an excuse, but some of the thoughts that he was having were exaggerated by the fact that she was lying and she was in a hotel room with someone else and blah, blah, blah. So, if she had been at home doing everything that she should be doing as like the perfect little wife, and he wouldn't have had any questions about it, I feel like it wouldn't have happened.
There is no such thing as a perfect little wife.
But you know what I mean.
Get that out of your head, guys. All the men listening to us, no such thing.
There is no such thing as a perfect wife, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If she wasn't in a hotel room with another man and hadn't lied about where she was, I don't think that he would have cheated on her. So when she comes back and finds out that he cheated, totally understand being angry and upset and hurt and devastated, not excusing it at all. But you also have to look into what your contribution towards the end of your marriage was.
She cannot be held responsible for his actions.
No, she can't be held responsible for
his actions. He made his own decisions.
But they were
and they're not her fault.
But they were influenced by her actions.
But no.
Okay. We're going to have to agree to disagree here because
you are responsible for your own actions. No one else can force you to make those decisions. He chose to stay in that situation and chose to be with someone.
Okay.
Even if he was hurt, he made that decision.
Yes. But we're going to agree to disagree on how we got there. How he got
there. The next time your kids are fighting, so-and-so made me do this. Uh-huh.
No.
Same thing.
I don't think it's that black and white.
It is.
I don't.
It is.
I disagree.
No one else. I cannot force you to go do something.
No, but you can influence me to.
But that's your decision to be influenced by it.
It is.
Unless I am a hypnotherapist.
Oh my gosh.
Or like doing some mind control.
I think we need some more psychics on General Hospital. We can go do that.
No. But anyway, so then they get back together. And then a month later, they find out about Charlotte, who she should have only been like 3.
Uh-huh.
But she came in at like 6 or so. How old was Charlotte when she came in?
I would say she was like, now I have to Google it.
So if she was born in like 2012, 13, she'd be now,
6 or 7.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's aged up a little bit.
Yeah.
But regardless, so shortly after they finally get back together, they wind up finding out that Charlotte and Valentine's the dad. So then, she winds up going through a custody battle with Valentine. And you know what, though? Dante's been by her side through the whole thing.
Exactly.
He embraced Charlotte and was like, all right, this is crazy. And then, so they've gone back and forth so much with this custody thing. But yeah.
Right. They got temporary custody in June 2017 because Valentine was arrested by the WSB.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, I guess they said it would be psychologically damaging. What's his name had done a whole psyche eval on her to keep her away from her dad. But once you get arrested by the WSB, I feel like you forfeit your rights there, or you forfeit that original custody agreement.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it is that she had to go back.
He's loaded, though, so he can take people off.
Nora Buchanan as his attorney.
Yep.
So
and she's been in and out.
I love her. So I didn't realize that Dante had been gone for almost a year.
It's a year, yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, so Dante left Port Charles to join the WSB and
to find Raj.
Yep.
Who had tried to kill Lulu 2 years earlier. What part of that was he? That he tried to kill her? Once I saw him, I remembered seeing him, but I don't remember how he played in.
He had her locked up on the Haunted Star. I don't remember why or whatever, and it wasn't listed in the research. So yeah, but I mean, that's why Dante left.
Dante left to go find Raj.
In March. He came home after Sunny.
For like what felt like 2 days.
I know.
And Dad say it was only a matter of days, but it really felt like it was like an overnight, and that was all.
Mm-hmm. If you've watched it all in the past 5 months,
right.
You've seen, I mean, he came home
and was not himself and was having crazy thoughts. Mm-hmm. And they said post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know why he couldn't get treatment close to home, but they sent him to France.
Listen, sometimes the best places, I mean, people do travel all over the place. I think that, especially where we live, we have a lot of really good hospitals.
We are totally spoiled.
But I mean, the Cleveland Clinic is a thing. The Betty Ford Center is a thing. And people travel great lengths. So maybe France does have an amazing mental health facility because everyone just goes there.
Everyone needs to go there. As she's upset about these divorce papers, again, not saying I wouldn't be upset, but he told her when he left at that point, don't wait for me. Mm-hmm. Do not put your life and the kid's life on hold.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's fair, though.
I know it's not fair, but I just mean, I don't understand how it's quite so much of a shock. When someone says that to you, it's kind of an indicator that they're not planning on coming back, or that they don't think that's going to happen. And whether it's because that's what's best for the people that you're saying it to, or that's what's best for you. Either way, when you use that line, it's usually like, I'm out, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why she's so shocked. And
yeah, if you want to go back and recap, watching the original, how they met and fell in love, like I said, so just go on YouTube and search GH Dante and Lulu 2009. And you'll be able to watch their original interactions and see how they were so cute. And there was a spark there. Then if you go on the General Hospital Fandom.com, they have Dante Falconeri and Lulu Spencer-Falconeri page, and they have their proposal videos. So in 2011, the first time he proposed was on the Metro Court Terrace on September 21st and 22nd, after they had broken up, but Lulu couldn't answer. Lulu had planned to say yes a few days later, but Dante was shot. And while he was in the hospital, he proposed again and she accepted. And then she broke off their engagement, and then they got re-engaged just 11 days later.
Wow.
Yeah. So then obviously they got married, and then they got divorced, and then not even 3 or 4 months later, they got re-engaged. Or remarried after their divorce. So
yeah, because they were remarried before Charlotte came into the picture.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was super, super quick.
Yes. So I think that's it about Dante and Lulu. Do you think they're getting divorced? I think that they might.
I think they need to. I think even if he came back, he's not going to be happy just being a Port Charles cop anymore. He's going to want to be the WSB agent. And as we know from Robert and Anna in Frisco, they're all over the place all the time. So I don't think that Lulu's going to be able to be a good spouse for that.
Yeah.
So
we shall see.
We shall.
Yeah. Yeah. So Monday we will do this week's recap.
Weekly recap. This week's been good so far. I won't get into any details because we don't want to spoil it. But I just watched Tuesday's episode and as I was watching it. So that's a good week because that doesn't happen all the time anymore.
No.
So yeah, have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.